Traders, welcome back to our price session training lesson. We're going to use price session to help us identify directional buys of the market where the high probability setups. So the structure analysis right now is indicating that we are in a trend range. The 21 bar EMA is flat. We have consistent price swings up and down. There's the support. There's the resistance. Uptrend played up with the break new high. We have massive push back below the EMA, which is confirming that the sellers are in the market. Range rules, most breakouts will fail. So my focus as a price action trader right now is on this downtrend working lower. There's the big structure analysis, which is the trend range. And now I'm going to focus on the local analysis, which is the micro downtrend. So we have first entry short. What I would like to see is a second attempt, second entry short at the key entry point at the EMA, because I expect new low now to be tested according to trendline rule. By the time I get a second entry short, it is here, yes, but you can see massive tail so far with the body from the EMA. This is generally not the ideal. Also, you're selling at the bottom of the move close to these lows. We're most likely heading all the way down here, but it is not the best, and we can't really cherry pick, even though it ended up working well. You know, heading forward closer to the EMA, we can consider like this. It is a little bit more aggressive. Now, prices are strongly trending to the downside, so I like drawing even slightly wider channel because the momentum is there. Our goal is to test the low of the day. And this is interesting setup. This is actually technically new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, failure, double trap. Okay, of course you cannot take second entry short so far from the EMA. So everybody who went short so far from the EMA on a second entry short got trapped. And everybody who's buying too early, they're going to get trapped as well. And also you can consider this as a mini failed breakout out of this consolidation. It is not that big, but consolidation is there. Now, when I was watching this, I actually reset the count here, even though technically this is the lowest low, simply because I have a lot of matching lows here. So I like treating this only as a first entry short, but it is a decent bar, big bearish bar off the EMA, and technically it is a double trap. So, you know, this is a decent setup. It is happening quite fast, so you need to decide quickly. I didn't take it simply because I had count reset due to so many matching lows, but technically it is okay setup. We expect new low. Prices create a break, push to new extreme. Okay. We're at the bottom of the trend range, so I'm going to pause looking to sell. That doesn't mean I can go long just yet, because this was quite a decisive push down. We haven't even pushed above EMA. So if I want to go long, I would like to see some stronger push above EMA, but I'm definitely pausing looking to sell. And hold on, EMA keeps rejecting again. Okay, not uncommon, this push down was quite strong, so let's see what's going to happen. And prices keep trending lower. After breaking new extreme, EMA is rejecting here, here, and here again. This is clearly telling me that the structure inside this trend range is more bearish. There's so much empty room here, and once we can even push above EMA, this is indicating, okay, I cannot be thinking about buying now because the bias is too bearish, even though we are in a trend range, and we can keep working lower simply because I'm working with the EMA and I'm reading the market structure. And because prices are working even lower, what I like to do is I like to be drawing this spike and a channel pattern because it aligns nicely with the EMA. First entry short, second entry short so far from the EMA, and at this point my structure is getting confirmed. The trend range is slowly dissipating. We are transforming into spike and a channel pattern. The EMA aligns with the trend line. We have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Very tempting setup. Why? Because we have two key entry points, not one. EMA and the trend line, which is confirmed perfectly. Problem is, we have short-term uptrend working higher, and this is very tempting second entry short. Not a bad setup, but the short-term trend line is quite concerning, so it is way more aggressive. I would like to see lower high confirmation setup. It take high, reverse down, and now you have a lower high confirmation setup. I actually tried to take engulfing, which means it take higher, reverse down, and once it is reversing, you can place your stop order below this bullish bar. So lower high confirming the second entry short. Once again, two key entry points. The structure is bearish, and this is nice set of trades. We are working lower. We are quite far, so I can't really sell. Okay, you can see how nicely the downtrend is fitting. So we have overshoot. We broke the trend channel line, quite decisive push down. We have strong correction working high, which is confirming, okay, we may indeed have overshoot. So now we have second entry short. Now, even though it is tempting, when I'm watching this live, I have to be careful because the spike in the channel fits perfectly. We have potential overshoot. This was a very strong bullish leg. There's a big chance we're going to get the second leg up and then to this new extreme. So after overshoot, we have to skip the second entry short. So we can't really take it. It ended up working. Why? Because as you can see, the structure is too bearish. But we can't really cherry pick just because it worked. That's not the point of these lessons. The point is to equip ourselves with the right knowledge so we can take these setups when we're watching this live. And we had overshoot, strong correction. There's simply no safe way to take it. But because we're breaking the low, it's clearly not acting as overshoot. So I like to be drawing the channel in play, something like this. Basically, there is no overshoot. So at this point, the bias is bearish. Okay, once again, potential overshoot, but because it keeps breaking lower, I like widening it because the structure is too strong. At this point, this is EMA hard mode, consistent rejection of the EMAs, a lot of small bars, a lot of entries working. This is very, very strong downtrend, so don't even think about buying. Just wait for prices correcting to the key entry point. Redraw the short-term uptrend. Okay, massive break below EMA. We're most likely not going to get new high for this uptrend. We already confirmed it right here. Why? Well, because the downtrend is simply too strong, okay? When the downtrend is very, very strong like this, any trend, you have to adjust your rules a little bit. You have to be a little bit more aggressive. So I want to see now what? New low, first entry short, pullback. I want to see second entry short. And now we have second entry short. There's going to be break below this bar. New low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. And this is nice high probability setup. When I was watching this live, I had a little bit bullish body here, so I skipped it. But after I loaded my data, this doji is acceptable because there's a nice tail, second entry short. You know, and we have to be a little bit more aggressive when the trend down is this strong. You have to ride this out because your stop loss has to go one tick above the signal bar, but eventually bottom dropped. You keep pushing lower, second entry short, so far from the EMA I cannot take. So I'm just gonna be patient. You know, this was tempting setup, but in order for me to consider this double trap, it needs to close below EMA. And this is still above. You know, I want to see lower high confirmation setup. No lower high, no lower high here. Yeah, you get some sketchy setup, but horrible doji is just no way for me to get on this. Okay, and you can see how market is starting to lose steam. Each new push phase is smaller and smaller. We have a second entry short, but it is way too squeezed. We already traded, you can see 100 points down. You can see how we're about to roll over. It's so close to these lows. It's not for the EMA with the body. We can't take it. It is too wedgy. There needs to be some stronger correction. Market is going sideways now. Gonna draw the consolidation. Market is correcting. I expect new low for this downtrend, but the correction can be quite strong because this was a strong downtrend. So I'm gonna adapt to this uptrend. Gonna respect it. If we keep working hard, break a new high. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Push below EMA. So at this point, we expect new low for the downtrend. I'm gonna redraw. The downtrend can get a felt second entry short. Excuse me, felt second entry long. Horrible lower high. Doji. I can't take just lower high. It's not confirming anything. This was too strong of a correction. And prices keep working higher. So now, because we're back above EMA, why are we back above EMA? Why prices cannot go and test the new extreme? If I'm going to take a close look here, I can actually draw the uptrend just a little bit wider and still get the confirmations. I still have confirmations here, so I'm going to copy it. Put at the top, a lot of confirmations. Downtrend played out with the break, push to a new extreme. Push above EMA, and this is high low, confirming the first entry long, pullback second entry long. So this is decent high low. This uptrend needs to get new high, and this is decent high probability. Setup, high low confirming the second entry long, which was right here. The fact that you're back above EMA is confirming, okay, the wider channel is in play and you expect new high. Prices keep pushing higher. Initially, I drew my leg like this, project the measured move. Where is the target for the buyers? And as the correction got stronger, it made me question the original spike and channel pattern because we're trending so far up away that we're most likely not even going to test the new extreme. So what I have to do, right now be a little bit patient because I don't want to redraw a wide uptrend just yet because it doesn't fit that well. If I'm going to draw it, we have overshoot. If I'm going to draw it like this, I have no confirmations. It looks like two legs up. I got to be careful, but it was too bullish for me to sell. So I got to be patient. Okay, it looks like we're going to go down, but we have massive push above EMA. So at this point, I'm going to redraw wider uptrend. Looks like there was small overshoot. These two break, push above EMA. I expect new high to be tested. There's simply no setup I cannot buy. not the key entry point. Okay, no entry here, so far from the EMA. So I'm going quite quickly through this, but there is nothing that we can take. We cannot take setups willy-nilly. We need to take a high probability setup at the key entry point. And there is no high probability setup, not a key entry point. You have a break in your extreme. You know, if I'm going to take a look at 10,000 tick chart, there was actually a decent wider channel that was in play. But on this 2000 tick chart, it doesn't have confirmation here. So it feels a little bit too broad, but this is something I take into consideration. I also watch 10,000 tick chart, the high time frame, just to see the bias. And by the way, I'm going to adjust a little bit this. This is a very well fitting spec in the channel, and it's likely the market just reversed and there was no test of the new extreme. But there can be pattern like this, break, couple pushes to new extreme, a little bit steeper channel like this. Explains price action, why we have break in new extreme and why market reverse so strongly. So I'm gonna right now forget about new extreme either way what channel you play, because the bias is now bullish. This trend up was too strong. Okay, we have a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, cannot take second entry long, below EMA. We just had a new high, even though this uptrend is quite strong and there can be a wider alternative. I simply cannot take it. I need high low. We're going sideways and this is high low. It take one tick below, reverse up. There is nice empty room here, broad two legs down. And this is good because broader these legs are, the more it means there's going to be uptrend continuation, okay? Because the steeper the push is, the higher the chance that there can be some stronger bearish correction. Since these two legs are so broad, far apart from each other, back above EMA, EMA held here, almost here, back here holding again. There's a big chance uptrend's going to go higher because after new high, we have to skip the very first second entry long, but confirmation setup can be considered. So this is decent high probability setup. Hello, confirmation entry. Prices keep going higher. And at this point, I'm going to adapt to wider channel because prices keep pushing the new high even after we're creating break a new high. So there's clearly a wider channel in play. New high first entry long, second entry long cannot take, bearish bar far from the EMA, so not the key entry point. Okay, we have a new high first entry long. Now we have second entry long, but we didn't trigger below. Okay, it is an inside bar. We didn't take one tick below this bar, which is the reason why we skip. But I'm gonna mark it. It is a second entry long at the EMA, not a problem to take it. Had it take one tick below the previous bar, this would be a no-brainer. But since it's inside bar, you want to see this, the one tick below, because it's a good sign that the sellers really got trapped selling below this bearish bar into EMA. It's okay setup. It actually ended up being a little fake out, but it's okay. This was good setup to take a chance. Not every single setup is going to work. And now we have take it down, reversal up, massive high low, a little bit similar to this what happened here. And this is a great opportunity to either re-enter, or if you're not in on the second entry long, you can definitely enter now because the momentum is there. Great high low, EMA keeps rejecting 3 times, massive tail at the bottom. The uptrend has been established. This is pretty much textbook price action. We wait for a correction phase to the key entry point. Okay, I have to redraw the short-term downtrend. We have only first entry long. So as a price action trader, I always reset the count once each new high is made. Okay, that's the price action counting technique. And because market moves in pairs of twos, we're training our eyes to see these mini two-legged pullbacks. Sometimes they're easy to see, just like we have here, broad two legs. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, broad two legs. And you want to see the two-legged pullback at the key entry point, either EMA or the trend line. Okay, so if you can combine the key entry point with the two-legged pullback, especially if the short-term downtrend has a break in your extreme, so you can see the trend line rule applies even for the correction. Break in your extreme, break in your extreme, break in your extreme, push above EMA, and this setup is one bounce, second bounce. Actually, this is micro triple test. This is actually multiple test, and this is once again new high, can reset, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. It take few ticks lower, reverse up, back above EMA. This is exactly what you want to see. Great second entry long, multiple test, because right now we can combine it with the small support, and this is excellent. Now the bar is quite big, so you may want to consider re-entering once prices retrace a little bit. You can still enter at the top, but if it retraces like here, you can use a deep limit order, get filled, and then ride it out. You don't want to take high low now, because why there was no high low after this bar, why there is a tiny bearish bar like this, it's just forming a little bit too weird, and you're supposed to be holding this setup. It's going a little bit sideways. It's a bit nuanced. You have to have gut feeling developed, but it formed a bit weird because why there was no high low right after this bearish bar. Tick lower, reversal up, just like here. You know, this is not that great, so you're supposed to be holding this. I don't like really marking this because it just formed a little bit weird. Something is off about this setup. The market keeps going higher. Now we have a failed second entry short, new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short failure. Because since we're in a bullish trend, I can count for second entry longs off the highs. But I can also use a failed second entry short because counter trend traders are going to get trapped. Problem is, this is a massive bearish bar. Yes, it is a failed second entry short, but you know, there can be some momentum after this bar. Also, it pushed quite far up. I prefer these failed second entries to be closer to each other, so it ended up working, but these are not the best when the bar is so massive. It pushed quite far up, so even though it worked actually very well, massive runner, you know, I'm not a fan of this setup. Once again, more aggressive trader can consider, but I prefer to get a second entry long here. Prices keep going sideways. I'm going to redraw the short-term downtrend. First entry long, second entry long below EMA I cannot take. We can't even close above EMA. You know, push here, but you're still quite below EMA. This is not really a great setup here. Market keeps pushing higher, something like this. Now, there's actually an alternative for me to draw some very nice spike candle channel pattern. I was playing with both channels, either the big one or some spike candle channel pattern. It doesn't really matter if you're perfect or not. What's important is to be close. You know that there is some channel working higher. You know that the EMA is rejecting. This is a massive strong uptrend. So you're only thinking about buying following the trendline rule for the bullish trend. What you can do is either draw some spike candle channel pattern, or as you're getting more confirmations, we can draw some channel like this, ignoring the early break, because this fits quite well. Price action fits really well. No good setup here though. You know, we're so far from the EMA, we just can't pull back. You know, great setups in hindsight, but nothing is correcting. Okay, I'm going to redraw the downtrend working lower. First entry long, second entry long below EMA I cannot take. Here we have high low, but you have to use double bar entry. This downtrend doesn't have any extreme. EMA on these bars, we didn't fully push above EMA. You know, not the greatest setup. Now we have a failed second entry short, but this is the same setup as we had here. It pushed so far from the count reset point. This downtrend can get a second leg down. And once again, I don't like how these failed second entry shorts have quite a strong correction now. And it's so far after high low. You can see so far after high low. So just because it worked here, you know, I skipped it here, so I had to skip it here again. Plus here we have massive leg down. Here it actually makes sense because you can see all downtrends played out. And there's some bullish momentum. Here you actually have massive deep leg down. And there can be some follow through. So I gotta be careful here. Second entry long. But we are below EMA. But you can see how market moves in these two-legged pullbacks. So the counting technique is real. But we're not at the key entry point. Can get high low of EMA. We cannot. Okay. So far from the EMA. It's a shame there is no real way to enter. You know, but this is kind of no man's land. Is there some support? Maybe. You know, you can draw the trend line actually a little tighter and have bounce off the trend line. You know, I can actually consider it because when I was watching this live, actually, I had a bounce here. You can see if I can draw it just a little bit tighter, something like this. It actually fits perfectly here. Still getting the confirmations. So if you're actually playing this trend line when watching this live, you can consider. Redraw the downtrend. Second entry long below EMA. Can I get a high low? No high low. Okay. Downtrend played out. With the break, push no extreme. Another visual to like a pullback. Perfect. I want to see push above EMA. Almost push above EMA. We can see how price action after those two legs down and the break in extreme is going sideways. This is indicating bearish momentum is dissipating because downtrend already played out and we have two legs down. So the buyers are accumulating, they're ready to test the new high for this uptrend. This is a decent setup, more advanced, because you have the support here and you know how prices are going sideways because it is closing above EMA. It is actually a nice trade to consider, but the safer way is to wait for above EMA, get a high low or failed second entry short. High low so far from the EMA, I can't take it, simply so far. And now we have failed second entry short. You know, this is decent entry because you can see how nicely it is gliding over this trend line. Once again, not full at the EMA. But remember, failed second entry short is stronger setup than high low, because that's the trap. That's the second attempt by the sellers. They're going to get trapped. So once again, actually I like this green, because it is off the trend line, borderline close to be at the EMA, and because it's a stronger setup you can consider. And now it's getting quite late. The market is about to close, and prices actually keep pushing higher and keep pushing higher. What a strong uptrend day. So this is the overall structure for today. I didn't expect such a massive uptrend. When I was watching this, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a massive sell-off, and it was 100 points down. But look at the absolute gigantic uptrend working higher. It just takes few trades to score a gigantic runner if you can ride out the pullback. So this is absolute insane, massive uptrend. It just keeps going higher. So once again, we're using the price action counting technique, resetting at each new high or each new low. On the way down, we want to see second entries or failed second entry longs. On the way up, we want to see second entry longs or failed second entry short. A lot of price action. I hope you had a good trading day. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to talk to you next time. Good luck with your trading.